You slept 8 hours. You haven't eaten a single thing. By every rule you've been taught, your body should be burning fat right now. It is not. In fact, in the first 45 minutes after you open your eyes, before food, before coffee, before you even stand up, your body may have already received the order. Store fat. Lock the vault. Protect the reserves. The command comes from cortisol. Every morning, your stress hormone spikes to its highest point in the entire 24-hour cycle. This is called the cortisol awakening response. It is not a flaw. It is a design. But 3 things you do on autopilot: your phone, your coffee, your overhead lights. Take that natural spike and turn it from a pilot flame into a house fire. You are not lazy. You are not undisciplined. But you are just sending the wrong signals during the most sensitive hormonal window of the day. Today I will give you 4 signals, no supplements, no equipment, nothing to buy, that force cortisol down and unlock the visceral fat vault. Signal number 3 is the one 99% of people do backwards every single morning. And signal number 4 is not something you do. It is something you stop doing. But first, you need to understand why those 45 minutes are a trap. Because if you don't see the trap, you will walk straight into it again tomorrow morning. Your body was not designed to stay calm when it wakes up. It was designed to surge. In the first 60 minutes after you open your eyes, cortisol climbs to the highest point it will reach all day. This is intentional. Cortisol is the ignition key. It mobilizes glucose, it sharpens focus, it pulls you out of sleep and prepares you to move, hunt, survive. Think of morning cortisol like the pilot flame on a gas stove. Small, controlled, just enough heat to get the burner going. But when you grab your phone, flip on the LED lights, and pour coffee into an empty stomach, you are spraying gasoline onto that pilot flame. The stove doesn't cook anything now. It just burns. A clean cortisol spike rises fast and falls fast. The body wakes up, mobilizes energy, then drops back to baseline within 60 to 90 minutes. That drop is the signal to shift into fat-burning mode. A dirty cortisol spike rises and never comes down. It stays elevated for hours. And when cortisol stays high, the body does not burn. It stores. That is the difference between a morning that works for you and a morning that works against you. And here's the part that makes belly fat completely different from fat anywhere else on your body. Your body has an enzyme called lipoprotein lipase, LPL. Think of it as a loading dock worker. Its job is simple. Take energy from the bloodstream and stuff it into fat cells. Every fat cell in your body has this worker, but not every fat cell listens to cortisol the same way. Visceral fat, the fat wrapped around your organs, the fat that pushes your belly out, has up to 4 times more glucocorticoid receptors than fat on your arms, your legs, in your hips. 4 times. Same level of cortisol in the blood, but your belly hears the storage order 4 times louder than anywhere else. Picture it this way. The fat on your thighs is a regular employee. Here's the memo, maybe gets around to it. The fat on your belly is wearing a headset, mic open, direct hotline to cortisol command. A whisper, and it is already moving boxes into the vault. Let that land. Same hormone, same blood. 4 times the response. Your belly is an antenna tuned to stress. Now watch what happens when you stack all of this together. From the moment you open your eyes to the moment you sit down for lunch. Wrong signal at 7 a.m. Cortisol spikes dirty. It does not come back down. LPL on your visceral fat activates. The loading dock is open. Workers are stuffing energy into the vault as fast as it arrives. Your body enters famine mode. Not because there is no food, because the hormonal signal says danger. Store everything. Now you eat a clean lunch. Grilled chicken, salad, perfectly measured calories. It does not matter. The order from 7 a.m. is still active. Your body takes that clean lunch and stores it. You eat less and gain more. You try harder and fall further behind. You did not lose because of what you ate at noon. You lost because of the order you sent at 7 a.m. and you did not even know you sent it. So to reverse that order, we need to send the opposite signal, a safety signal. And the first one is so simple you will not believe it matters. But it does. The first thing most people put in their mouth in the morning is coffee. That is a metabolic mistake. Not because coffee is bad, but because your body is asking for something else first. You just went 8 hours without water. You lost roughly a liter just by breathing through the night. Your blood is thick, viscous. Your heart has to physically pump harder to push it through the vascular system, and that extra effort alone is enough to raise cortisol before you even sit up in bed. Think of your blood vessels in the morning like a pipe clogged with sediment. Water barely trickles through. The pump strains. The alarm pulls. Cortisol rises, not because anything dangerous happened, because the plumbing is dry. And here's why a glass of plain water is not enough. Your adrenal glands, with the two tiny organs sitting on top of your kidneys that produce cortisol, run on sodium and potassium. When sodium drops too low, the body panics. It releases aldosterone and adrenaline to maintain blood pressure. More adrenaline means more cortisol. You are trying to calm the system down, and the system is screaming for minerals. Plain water dilutes, but it does not replenish. Water with salt dilutes and delivers the exact minerals your adrenals need to stand down. The protocol is simple. 1 large glass of room temperature water, 1 pinch of sea salt or pink Himalayan salt, half a lemon squeezed in for potassium. Drink it before you do anything else. Before coffee, before your phone, before you step outside. This is the first thing that enters your body. You are not restricting anything. You are not starting a diet. You are returning what 8 hours of sleep took from you. Not a 47-ingredient celery juice, not a charcoal detox smoothie. Salt, water, lemon, done. This glass does not hydrate you. I mean, it does. But that is not why it matters. It sends a specific signal to the adrenal glands. Resources are available. Sodium is here. Potassium is here. Blood volume is rising. The famine is over. Stand down. That first glass of water is not a drink. It is a ceasefire letter sent directly to the organs that control your stress response. The first signal is sent from the inside out. The second signal comes from the outside in, and it costs even less than salt. Your body has a master clock. It does not run on batteries. It does not run on food. It runs on light. And every single morning, it waits for one signal before it sends orders to the rest of the body. This clock is called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, SCN. It sits deep in the hypothalamus. It controls when cortisol rises, when melatonin drops, when you feel hungry, when you burn fat. Every hormonal rhythm in your body flows downstream from this one clock. Think of the SCN like central command with a radio. Every morning, it broadcasts orders to the entire body. But before it can broadcast, it needs to receive the right frequency. That frequency is sunlight. Without it, command sends out static. And when every organ in the body receives static instead of clear orders, the result is chaos. Cortisol stays high when it should be low. Melatonin stays low when it should be high. You feel tired but wired, exhausted but unable to sleep, and the fat keeps accumulating. The problem is that most people feed this clock the wrong frequency from the very first second. You wake up, you flip on the bathroom light, you scroll your phone in bed. Both of these are artificial blue light, around 500 lux. That is not strong enough to set the clock, but it is just strong enough to confuse it. The signal is weak, ambiguous. The brain registers something between day and night. The result is low-grade anxiety with no clear source. Cortisol rises, but without the sharp peak and clean drop the body needs. Now compare that to sunlight. Even on a cloudy, overcast morning, over 10,000 lux, 20 times stronger. 500 lux is a knock on the door. 10,000 lux is kicking the door open. And the brain needs the kick. When those photons hit the retina, they travel straight to the hypothalamus. The SCN locks in. It triggers a clean, sharp cortisol spike, the kind that rises hard and drops fast. This is the spike you want. This is the design. But the story does not stop at the morning. The light you receive at 8 a.m. is engineering what happens at 10 p.m. Morning sunlight triggers serotonin production during the day. Serotonin is the raw material the brain converts into melatonin at night. More serotonin now means more melatonin later. More melatonin means deeper sleep. Deeper sleep means the glymphatic system fully clears metabolic waste and residual adenosine. And that means tomorrow morning, cortisol starts clean. One action at 8 a.m. designs your sleep at 10 p.m., and tonight's sleep designs tomorrow's cortisol. The protocol is simple. Get outside within the first 30 minutes of waking. No sunglasses, no window glass. Direct exposure, 5 to 10 minutes. You do not need to run. You do not need to exercise. Just let the light in. 2 signals sent. Blood thinned. Clock set. But there are 3 things most people believe help burn fat in the morning that are actually destroying everything you just built. I want to tear them down before we go further. Stop for a second. Before I give you signal 3, I want to clear the debris, because if you still believe any of these 3 things, you will sabotage this protocol on day 1. Myth 1. HIIT in the morning burns the most fat. No. If cortisol is already elevated, and it is every single morning, high-intensity training pours more cortisol on top of cortisol. It creates a hypoxia signal. Lack of oxygen. The body reads that as danger. Danger means store. the opposite of what you want. Myth 2. Black coffee on an empty stomach accelerates fat burning. No. Caffeine on top of peak cortisol is stimulant stacked on stimulant. You are not unlocking fat. You are locking it tighter. Myth 3. Warm lemon water detoxes the liver. Lemon water is hydration with a pleasant taste. That is all it is. It does not detox anything. But if you add salt, it does something real. Not detox, not cleansing, just restoring the minerals your adrenals are starving for. Lemon water is hydration with a nice smell. Stop putting that on its resume. So no, you do not need to crush a workout at 6 a.m. You do not need to fast like a hero. You do not need miracle water. You need 4 signals. You have 2. Signal number 3. The one I told you at the beginning that 99% of people do backwards starts now. Hear the mechanism first, then decide. Every morning, billions of people around the world do the exact same thing within 10 minutes of opening their eyes. Brew coffee. And every morning, billions of people are setting a time bomb that detonates at 2 p.m. To understand why, we need to talk about adenosine. Throughout the day, your brain builds up a molecule called adenosine. Adenosine is the sleep pressure chemical. The longer you are awake, the more it accumulates. The more it accumulates, the heavier your eyelids get. When you fall asleep, the brain's glymphatic system slowly drains it out. By morning, most of it is gone. Most, not all. When you first wake up, there is still residual adenosine floating around. Not much, just enough to make those first 20 minutes feel groggy. Under normal conditions, the body clears this residue on its own within about 90 minutes. The grogginess lifts naturally. Energy comes online naturally. No intervention needed. Think of that residual adenosine like water sitting in a sink after you pull the plug. The drain is open. The water is slowly going down. Give it 90 minutes and the sink is clean. But you do not give it 90 minutes. You pour coffee in. Caffeine molecules dock into the adenosine receptors. They block the signal. The brain stops registering tiredness. You feel sharp, alert, awake. But the adenosine has not gone anywhere. It is still there, still accumulating. The drain is open, but you just placed a lid over the sink. Water is rising underneath. You cannot see it. You cannot feel it. But it is filling up. The lid holds for about 4 to 5 hours. Then it pops. 2 in the afternoon. The water floods over. The adenosine hits all at once. You crash. Our energy drops through the floor. Your brain panics. And what does the body do when energy disappears without warning? It pumps cortisol to compensate. And that crash does not stop at making you tired. It triggers a chain of dominoes that falls all the way to bedtime. Coffee at 6 a.m. Adenosine blocked. Fake alertness for 4 hours. Dam breaks at 2 p.m. Crash. Cortisol spikes to rescue energy. Cortisol spike drives sugar cravings. You eat. Insulin spikes. Belly fat stores. Night comes. Sleep quality drops. Next morning, cortisol starts higher than yesterday. 1 cup of coffee. 16 hours of consequences. The fix is not quitting coffee. The fix is moving it. Wait 90 minutes after waking. Let the residual adenosine drain on its own. Let the cortisol awakening response run its full arc and come back down. When you drink your coffee 90 minutes later, the sink is already clean. The receptors are clear. Caffeine lands on a clean surface instead of a dirty one. Same cup, same taste. But the brain receives it as a performance enhancer, not a crutch. Double the effect. No crash. You are not giving up coffee. You are pushing it back 90 minutes. You lose nothing. You gain everything. I know. 90 minutes without coffee sounds like punishment. But you just survived 8 hours of sleep without it. Another 90 minutes is not going to kill you. Coffee at 6 a.m. does not wake you up. It only delays the crash at 2 p.m., and that crash has a price. You pay it in fat. 3 signals down. Water, light, caffeine timing. Signal 4 is the one that ties them all together. And it is the one most people are missing every single morning without knowing it. Most people think the morning requires intensity to burn fat. Squats, burpees, 20 minutes of HIIT before the sun is fully up. But if cortisol is already elevated and visceral fat is already packed around your organs, high-intensity training in the morning may be the worst thing you do. The body does not need force right now. It needs safety, and safety has a very specific shape. Forward movement. Walking, not running, not sprinting, walking. But it is not about the steps. It is not about the calorie burn. It is about a mechanism that most people have never heard of. And it has nothing to do with your legs. It has to do with your eyes. When you walk forward, images pass by on both sides of your visual field. Trees slide left. Buildings drift right. The ground flows beneath you. This visual data is called optic flow, and it has a direct line to the amygdala, the fear center of the brain. Think of the amygdala like a fire alarm that has been ringing since you woke up. Cortisol is high, the body is on alert, the alarm is blaring. Optic flow is the inspection crew arriving on scene. They walk through every room, they check every corner, they confirm, no fire, no threat, and they shut the alarm off, not with willpower, not with deep breathing, with data. Your eyes feed the amygdala proof that you are moving forward, that you are in control, that the environment is safe. This is a primal signal, 200,000 years old. In our evolutionary history, walking forward meant agency. Exploring, hunting, moving toward resources. Standing still meant hiding, trapped, cornered. Your brain still reads these signals exactly the same way. The protocol is simple. 10 to 15 minutes of walking outside. Combine it with the sunlight from signal 2. You do not need to walk fast. You do not need to sweat. Eyes open, face forward. Let the images flow past. You are not exercising. You are sending a double signal. Sunlight for the clock. Optic flow for the amygdala. Two systems quieted at the same time. This is the state in which the body feels safe enough to open the vault and release the reserves it has been guarding. 10 minutes of walking in the morning does not burn fat through calories. It burns fat by convincing the body it no longer needs to hold on. 4 signals sent: water, light, caffeine timing, movement. But I told you at the beginning, the final piece is not something you do. It is something you stop doing. This one does not require your hands, does not require your legs, does not require you to leave the bed. You just need to not reach to your right and pick up the phone. And that might be the most powerful action in your entire morning. The moment you open social media or email, you are flooding a waking brain with dopamine and cortisol simultaneously. You are reacting to other people's deadlines, other people's emergencies, other people's opinions, bad news, comparison, demands. Before your nervous system has even finished booting, you have already engaged fight or flight. Think of your brain in the first minutes after waking like a computer starting up. The operating system is loading. Drivers are initializing. Memory is allocating. Now open 15 tabs, launch a video call, and start downloading files, all at once. The machine freezes. It's not because it is broken, because you did not let it finish starting. 30 minutes. That is all. Let the system boot. Let the parasympathetic nervous system establish a baseline of calm before the world rushes in. This is not just about mental health. It is about metabolic health. A brain that starts the day in reactive mode stays in reactive mode. Cortisol stays elevated. Decisions stay impulsive. Cravings hit harder. A brain that starts the day in proactive mode keeps cortisol low, keeps the signals clean, keeps the vault open. That email at 7 a.m. will still be there at 7:30. I promise. Nobody has ever been fired for responding 30 minutes late. The strongest signal you send in the morning might be the signal you do not send. 4 signals in. 1 signal blocked. Now let me line them all up into one sequence, so tomorrow morning. Why, you do not need to remember. You just follow the chain. The entire protocol fits inside 90 minutes. Nothing to buy, no app, no gym, no supplement, 0 cost, 0 barrier. Starts tomorrow morning. Wake up. Do not touch the phone. Drink the water. Salt, lemon, room temperature. Step outside. 10 minutes of natural light, eyes open, no sunglasses. Walk. Let the images flow past. Wait 90 minutes. Then drink your coffee. That is it. No step is complicated. No step requires willpower. Each step is a safety signal sent to the exact system that needs to hear it. At the mechanical level, you just thinned the blood, replenished the adrenals, set the circadian clock, cleared residual adenosine, and shut down the fire alarm in the amygdala. At the systems level, you just aligned 4 systems in 90 minutes. Circulatory, circadian, nervous, endocrine. 4 systems that most people unknowingly pit against each other every single morning. At the identity level, you are no longer adding another habit to the pile. You are no longer fighting your own biology. You are speaking its language. Maybe for the first time. Most people start their day by forcing themselves awake with screens, forcing energy with stimulants, forcing focus through noise, and then they wonder why the body resists, why the weight stays, why the inflammation builds, why they are exhausted by noon. When you switch to this protocol, you stop forcing and start flowing. The weight loss is not the goal. It is the side effect of a system that finally feels safe. Your body does not want to hold on to belly fat. It never did. It just needed you to stop screaming at it every morning that the world is dangerous. There is one factor that happens before you fall asleep in the last 30 minutes of your day that determines whether tomorrow's cortisol starts clean or dirty. It is not food. It is not a supplement. It is not an exercise. And almost nobody is talking about it. Welcome to Biohack Guy, your place for smart health and fat-burning biohacks.